as a Norris fan, scares me a bit. That Oscar Piastri, his trajectory, it's quite unbelievable. Did you ever work that someone is so frustrated and want to punch you in the face? No, stay calm. Come on. Palm, the first time, right? It's scary. You know go-kart outside. Wow, 140 kilometers per hour with your bottom that is touching the ground almost. Yeah. I mean, was scary from that side, and there was a young kid saying, "Oof, it's scary. I would like to try." Yeah, but fuck Nico Rosberg, I loved him. I saw him in the paddock, and every time I saw Nico Rosberg, you are blonder than me. You are fitter than me. You are richer than me. You are my dream man.
I'm a boss. I'm a red flag heavy hitter.
Ciao, venga!
Hello, Vengas!
How is everybody doing?
How are you doing? Do you like our excitement? Because today on the pod, we have met our match.
Yeah.
We are with the man sitting at the top of the excitement mountain for Formula One. We are with the king of the airwaves, the king of Italian commentary, the one and only Davide Valsecchi on the pod today.
Ciao ragazzi. Hi
Yes.
guys. Hi to everyone. Ciao.
Yeah, it's when you came into the door, I was surprised that you had like a normal voice. That's actually you. I just expected you to like come in like the Kool-Aid man, just knock the door down and just blow us all away in a whirlwind.
Yeah, it's all an act. He came in, he was like, "What's up, motherfuckers? What we doing? What's up? We doing a podcast or what?" No, then we started, for full disclosure, we're here in Canada.
Yeah.
We started talking about the Lando Norris crash. We started talking about what happened there, and then we saw the light bulb switch,
Yeah.
and we were like, "Oh, there's the guy we see on TV." Thank you so much for coming on the pod, Davide.
Thanks to you guys to invited me. It's a pleasure. And I like you. Thank you so much.
Well, give it a minute. Give it a minute.
Well, we want to cover a lot, but we want to cover your life. We want to get to know the man behind the microphone, because we see you on TV. What we really love and appreciate about you is that you have that same excitement that we feel like we have as fans. Sometimes I feel like in this Formula One world, there's a lot of people that are just like, well, if you look in the regulations, it's
It's dry. It's British.
It's dry. It's very kind of like heady. And we're in Canada. We saw that crash yesterday. We were all screaming at our television, and you want someone who feels that same feeling, and I feel like you're our conduit in that way.
Only because I just try to enjoy. During the race, I just try to enjoy the race. Also because I'm really passionate and I love the sport. And so when I get there, there's things that in the driving side of the sport that makes me, over the top, over the moon. That makes me excited. And, by side the circuit, seeing some of the movement. Yesterday, the comeback of Norris, I was supporting him at a certain point. And then when it ended up in the wall, I was pissed off. I mean, I wanted to see the fight. I wanted to see the overtake. And then it ended up badly for him. I felt sorry for him. I don't know. Yeah. Sometimes when I watch Formula One, I get in the driver head and I would like to see them succeed or see them winning or see them. And yesterday I felt the passion of Norris in that comeback. I was in his mind thinking, come on, I get my mate now. I'm going to take him. I'm going to take it. And then he tried the overtake and the hairpin.
Yeah.
And it was a good move and was a bit risky. And so I felt in his mind, that's why that break was so deep. Because if you take it a bit more, a bit too much, if you break a bit too early, there's the risk that Piastri is going to turn to enter the corner and you crash. So you need to be aggressive. And they knew that the only way is to be very aggressive in the break. Maybe went a bit too deep. And then Piastri came back. And then on the main straight, I was thinking, Norris, you need to have the torso. Push him close to the wall. Push him close to the right. And he couldn't because Piastri is a tough man. Believe me, he's really tough. And then the chicane. You can cross the line, Norris. He tried it. And then left. There is space. But Piastri was good. Mate, believe me, that move on covering the line by doing it so slowly. That was the difference. Because if you do it quick, Norris can change it to choose the other line, and he's going to be attacking on the outside for the first corner and being in favor of line for the second one. So Piastri decided to go on the straight and to move very slowly on the left, so it bring Norris to the mistake. Let him thinking the space was there, and at a certain point when he realized that the space was not there anymore, he crashed. I mean, that defense from Piastri was high level. Probably.
So you think Oscar needs more credit for forcing that mistake? A little, like he lured him into that?
That defense was perfect. I mean, he crossed the line. He crossed the line when he's been overtaken the hairpin.
Yeah.
And was immediately ready. When he saw him, he was immediately ready. I get him at the exit. And so he did it. And then at the exit of this hairpin, did you saw how Oscar, he pushed a bit Norris wide just to hit the outside curb?
Yeah.
You gain speed on a straight like this, and the Norris is going to lose it. And then he brake very deep into the chicane without losing the control of the car. Very high talent. And then at the exit, how he went to close the line. He didn't do like this, just immediately to protect the line. He moved it slowly. So if Norris was going on, he was closing. Norris closer. And there was not much more time to change the line and swap to the right. And so I think that while Norris was impatient, I think that Piastri there was like high-level move. Probably the championship move for him. So
Wow. I feel like I'm watching it all over again. You're bringing me back.
I really appreciate that move.
Yeah.
I think that Piastri is becoming.
This is the battle of the year. Is Norris, Piastri. What has been your takeaway watching these two drivers of the year so far?
That I think that Norris, when he's driving, is passionate like us when we are doing your podcast. So he get transported into the battle.
Yes.
And probably Piastri was high schooled there. Cold as ice. Was just perfect. And, he was behind Antonelli. His teammate was coming back. So you start to feel the pressure. He's going to get me. I need to overtake Antonelli immediately. He tried. He was not able to do it. And so he waited patiently for his teammate to come. And then he defended perfectly. I mean, I appreciate how this man can be humble and balanced in the mood of racing while the tension is raising up so much. And that's, my friend, is a quality that every driver dreams to have.
How common do you feel like that is? I mean, it feels like sometimes there are these guys who are more just stoic. They're in the car, they're cool under pressure, and then you have kind of the more excitable, the more kind of like revved up, passionate drivers. Do you feel like there's more of one than the other, or do you feel like Piastri is kind of the exception to the rule?
I don't know. It's a good question, to be honest, because we know that there's some type of driver that they are a bit more passionate in the driving style. Yeah. So I think Norris is a cool guy and very humble outside the car, but then when he gets into the car, you can feel that the heat when he's driving. Yeah. And in that comeback, he was the only one, I think, to be so aggressive and to be able to stay close in the DRS zone to the car in front of him and try the attack. Yeah. Piastri was one of the quickest in the track. He didn't even try with Antonelli. He was not able to stay close to him. So Norris was having a very good race, a risking one. And so I can feel the passion from them. I can feel the passion from I can feel the passion in driving style from Leclerc. Leclerc in quali, he was like burning in that car. Yeah. Tried to find the last few tenths to put Ferrari on top. When he crashed it on Friday, he was one of the quickest on Saturday. He set the fastest first sector of everyone, missing all the Friday. In quali, was right to be one of the top three or maybe on pole. Yeah. And then the mistake and the aggressivity of his words after the quali. Come on, Arjar fall, he was in the way. Yeah. That probably was not in the way, but anyway. I love that.
Yeah. It's almost like, the Senna Prost, where you have the passionate driver and then you have the calculated driver. I guess my question for you is, a lot of people say, okay, Lando is the quote-unquote faster driver on pure pace, maybe better on his tires, but Oscar has the racecraft. And which one and maybe a cooler head. Which one do you put more of a premium on as a race car driver? Which one are you like, I'd rather have this than that? Because it seems like nobody's the complete package except for maybe Max. Although even Max gets a little hot under the collar sometimes.
Yeah. I don't know. To be honest, I think that everyone is dreaming about having half of the talent of all these guys, to be honest. So, I don't know. They are already perfect for me. Also, if they are different. So,
Yes.
we need to say that one.
Yeah,
and
sure.
then, okay, we need to also realize that, and that scares me a bit. As a Norris fan, scares me a bit. That Oscar Piastri, his trajectory, it's quite unbelievable. So, he was immediately impressive first year in Formula One. Last year, he got his first victory and then started winning the sprint and then started to be there with Norris in the race pace. But in quali, 80% of the time, Norris was quicker than him. I was starting in front of him 80% of the time. This year already, Piastri equal Norris in quali, and sometimes when the car is not perfect, he's even in front of him.
Yeah.
So, like on Saturday, the car seems that McLaren seems that the car was struggling a bit with the balance.
Yeah.
Piastri was cold as ice.
Yeah.
Third, Norris struggling a bit more. Seventh. So, I mean, the trajectory of, with Piastri scares you a bit because seems that is getting better and better. And that's a factor that if you are his teammate, you can feel it
Right.
and say, come on, I need to beat him. Because if we give him 3 or 4 more months,
Yeah.
it's going to be hard. He's already a top star,
Yeah.
And so we need to say that probably Piastri is getting there in quali for sure this year. In the head-to-hand or shoulder-to-shoulder battle, seems that this year he won more battle than Norris.
Right.
Sometimes against Verstappen, sometimes against rivals, to be honest. Probably on the race pace, Norris has been slightly better this year. In a few races, we saw Norris quicker than Piastri, even if Norris lost that race,
Right.
or Piastri won that race. So probably is that the key point. I think that the championship is going to be for Norris. He needs to beat Piastri in qualify. I think the man that is going to win the championship is the one that is going to do more qualify in front of the rivals, and more qualified result, better qualified result. It's going to be extremely important because the track position, if you are also in the same team, is important for the strategy. Is important
Clear
because
air.
overtake is difficult.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so clear air in front of you, managing of tires, you can pull away when you need to recover. You have a lot of trouble with the temperature, with the strategy, with all these, with the rivals.
Okay, we're feeling your passion, but we want to get into how this began. We want to talk about your life a little bit. Growing up, when did this first spark? When did you first fall in love with motor racing?
I think when my father and his friends, they were running with go-karts
Okay.
just for fun. And there was at the fence looking all these big boy racing with go-karts. I was with the fence. I was thinking, it's scary. It's scary. Go-kart outside. Wow! 140 kilometers per hour with your bottom that is touching the ground almost. I mean, was scary from the side, and there was a young kid saying, "Ooh, it's scary. I would like to try." And then I was playing football with friends in the team of the village.
Right.
I could not stop a ball from a passage of 5 meters.
Yeah.
I stopped, and the ball was always there. So I was not feeling special at all. I was putting 100% of my effort. While when I tested the go-kart, came out so easily, and that's a.
So it was a
that's
natural.
started.
It was a natural fit when you said I want to try go karting. You it was like a fish to water.
Yes,
Yeah,
comes much easier than doing other stuff,
I see.
and that's I can see it from the beginning. I watch the young kids karting race. I watch lower category motorsport. You can feel immediately who has something, who no.
Right.
Believe me, it's easy to see if you are into the sport.
Right.
And I remember that when I was trying, that comes natural. While playing football was so hard for me, you know.
So if you had been better at football,
Probably, yeah. I didn't want
you would
also
have been.
to try.
You doesn't mean you would have even
And
been a professional. You could have
and-
been an accountant or something. But
and I was enjoying playing football, but it was not good enough.
So how old were you when you got into your first cars?
Yeah.
I don't know. I was very young. You know, there was some type of race like village country race with the rally kart. That they were just kart, but not in the circuit, but with different tires. They were racing in the grass and over the grass. So it was. My father and my parents gave me the chance to do this type of racing. So it was like 5 or 6 years old.
Venkers, this episode is brought to you by BetMGM. Come see what's new at BetMGM. Score bigger when you win with boost tokens, odd boost tokens, and more. Even if your bet doesn't hit, we've got you covered with no sweat tokens. Sign up with BetMGM today and you'll have access to countless betting options, including new look, same game parlays, teasers, live bets, and so much more. Take advantage of these offerings and be sure to use the bonus code DADDY when signing up to receive up to $1,500 in bonus bets if your first bet loses. This is an exciting season. Oscar Piastri, Lando Norris, who's going to finish? Who's going to win each race? Where's Yuki Tsunoda going to wind up? You can bet on all this with BetMGM, so do it today. Use the bonus code DADDY when signing up, and again, receive up to $1,500 in bonus bets if your first bet loses. See you out there, Vegas.
Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Available in the U.S. Call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369 for New York. Call 1-800-327-5050 for Massachusetts. 21 and over only. Please gamble responsibly. Call 1-800-NEXT-STEP for Arizona. 1-800-BETS-OFF for Iowa. 1-800-981-0023 for Puerto Rico. First bet offer for new customers only. Subject to eligibility requirements. Bonus bets are non-withdrawable. In partnership with Kansas Crossing Casino and Hotel. See BetMGM.com for terms. U.S. promotional offers not available in New York, Nevada, Ontario, or Puerto Rico.
Do you even remember your first race?
No, but I remember that there was a lady, Elena Missaglia.
Okay.
She was bigger than me, taller than me.
Yeah.
And she was winning.
Yeah.
So she was one of my biggest rival. And I met her recently. It was a great fun. That's a great fun. Yeah, but I was like 4. She was like 6. And she was my idol at the time. I'm unbelievable. It's possible, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
so
what is she doing now?
funny story. She has family, and her daughter is not doing motorsport, but is doing horse races. So,
And you were like, "What are you doing? You had so much talent." You know, what do you?
and I asked her, "Have you still got the go-karting where we were racing with?"
Yeah.
And she said, yeah, I need to check, and I want to have one for my kids.
Well, I think, having a mother who races also, we look at Max Verstappen. His mother was a karting champion. I mean, that's when you can have it on both sides of the family, that's what makes a superstar. Okay, but wait. So you do your first karting race, you love it. At what point do you start to say, I want to do this professionally? What's that conversation with your parents? How does that go?
It was not easy, because then later on, my mother got to heal. She had this type of cancer or tumor when I was younger. So for many years we were like not doing very professional, because my family has other stuff to think about. I have also 2 sisters, so it was not so easy, the managing of the family.
Right.
And for that, we need to say thanks to my father. Yesterday was the Father Day, right?
Yes, it was. Yes.
And it was away. So because in a very difficult moment of our life, I need to give credit to him, because he could maintain the family in the right direction also while we were missing our mother guide.
Right.
So well done to him. But anyway, it was not in the conversation anymore for many years. We restart later on, and I really enjoyed it. I mean, I did motorsport. I was good. Some of the drivers, they were better than me.
Mm-hmm.
I remember once I raced against Vettel.
Really?
Yeah, believe me, Vettel was not the quickest man. But I think that at 17 years old, this boy, was already a man. Already at that age, this man was prepared as a 25 Formula One racing driver. And if you consider his career was so early in ages,
Right.
immediately in Formula One, after 2 or 3 years, he fight for the championship and he won 4 titles in a row. And he drops down also very early. But believe me, at 17, probably was ready to be in Formula One, this man. And when I met him and when I raced against him, was not even the quickest in the weekend. But fuck, pulled out the right lap time in quali. Pulled out a good start from second. He pulled out a victory immediately. I don't know, was just better in the details than everyone else. And got victory. Another one similar to him, it was Hülkenberg. Because now we underestimate a bit the quality of Hülkenberg because in Formula One he never took any podium.
Right.
But believe me, I saw him in the lower category.
Right.
Yeah.
It's like you speak with my son, 4 years old, and you speak with a teenager, 13. You realize immediately the difference. It was like this.
Yeah.
So all the other, they were like young racing driver. And this one was a professional man driver. Was better in the head than everyone else, and he won everything. Believe me, there's no man, only Piastri maybe, that won as many lower category, that won Hülkenberg. He won everything. Every championship that was part of, he was winning.
Well, there was this whole.
Sometimes he was not the quickest, he was winning.
So talk about not being the quickest but still winning. It's just maturity, like knowing
doing it at the right
doing-
time.
what-
Is it
yeah.
like raw speed versus like I pick and choose my moments? I know when to turn it on.
Yeah,
How does a faster kid throw it away?
I don't know. I don't know. Wait, how do you rate Norris and Piastri now?
Right.
Norris was unbelievable quick almost everywhere. He got the victory in Monte Carlo where you need to be bloody quick.
Yeah.
If no, you cannot win it.
Yeah.
Was the quickest yesterday.
Yeah.
And why Piastri
Right.
is leading the championship?
Right.
So it's kind of similar.
Right.
But the men that were not ready, they were not like Norris. They were much worse than Norris and throwing away points and making mistakes.
Yes.
It's more obvious when
yeah.
you're younger. Yeah.
More obvious because the difference is much wider.
Yeah.
Probably Hülkenberg was not like Piastri now, but I mean, it was that kind of mentality and was easy life for him with the others. I mean, they were
And what
much
were you-
more prepared.
What were you like?
Yeah. We're
And believe me, Hülkenberg was even better than Vettel. That's my personal view. Yeah, Hülkenberg was even better than Vettel. Yesterday, I told him on the live show, it's unfair for this sport that one man as good as you has no one podium. I think that there's drivers that won a race that they are worse than you. I didn't tell him, but
Right.
my thought is that he's better than some of the drivers that got a victory in Formula One. And he never had one. It seems that he had some chances in the past and he threw it away.
Right.
Unfair. Because he never threw away 1 point when he was racing in the younger category, this man.
But what, did you race against him in karting or in lower formula?
I saw him in the lower Formula, and probably I raced 1 year against him in Formula 2 or GP2 at the time. And he was fighting for winning the championship, and I think he won it at the end. Yeah, he won it for sure.
Yeah.
And nothing. He was special. He was ready. He was prepared. He was on the technical side. He was 2 steps away ahead of everyone else. It was just perfect. Believe me.
So you get to the lower formulas and
You can see immediately.
really?
Yeah, you can see immediately who is well prepared and who is not. Because it's not just talent. It's like a preparation, so engineers, technical side, test, use of new tires.
Yeah.
That's count a lot in the lower category.
Right.
Some of them, they don't know about motorsport so much in the family, and so they are not well guided into the lower category formula. But you need a very high level of preparation. If no, you cannot fight. I mean, like when I say new tires, I said one of the most difficult things in the racing weekend is use the car when you put new tires on, and to set the fastest lap time in qualification. You need to have talent and then a sort of attitude with focus and concentration. Put all together the best of your field during the weekend in that lap. It's not easy at all. And when you test new tires, the feeling of the car is different with new tires. It's for this reason that in the lower category, when you don't have maybe so much money to put or so much, you
Right.
tend to use used tires, no, just to give you experience. But then the use of new tires is completely different, and you need to get used to it. And so some of the drivers, they were so prepared and so good in mind that when it comes to qualify, they were always there. And Vettel and Hülkenberg, they were like this.
Where were you on the pecking order of the the guys who were so well prepared? They're adults in children's clothing, and then between the Lando Norrises of the world who are just kind of like, I'm quick and what's going on? I don't know.
No, like I raced against Perez once, 1 year,
Yeah.
and I think Perez was good but not fantastic. I had a similar attitude than Perez. He was a bit more prepared and more mature than me, but he was very good in racing. He was a fighter. He was pushing shoulder to shoulder to everyone. Was not in the quickest in the world. And then Perez had an amazing career in Formula One, while Hülkenberg was just bloody better than him.
Yeah.
Right.
They didn't race the same year, but believe me, I was beside them. I think that Hülkenberg was much better. And then in Formula One, different type of career.
Right.
I really would like to see Hülkenberg on the podium in the next few races, or maybe next year with Audi. You never know.
Right.
Because I think he deserves it.
But I think from what we've seen is that lower Formula success doesn't always translate into Formula One success. And just because you're a great karter doesn't mean you'll be great in the lower Formula. And just because you're great in the lower Formula doesn't mean you'll be great in Formula One. I mean, we see a lot of champions in the lower Formula. They don't necessarily pan out in Formula One. Why?
Agree or disagree?
Yeah.
Okay.
So now you have Verstappen that's probably is the best one, no?
Right.
You have Leclerc that is one of the best, probably the best qualifier also.
Yeah.
Right.
13 or 14 years old, they were racing each other for the World Championship in karting together,
Right.
Sure.
shoulder to shoulder.
Right.
In that group of Vega special team, where Vega, that is the constructor for the tires, the furniture for the tires, there were some drivers that had the special furniture, so the top one. There was Russell, already one.
Yeah.
There was Albon. There was Leclerc. There was Verstappen. I don't know who is missing, but I mean, they were top already 14, 15 years old.
Right.
So, agree and disagree.
Right.
I mean, already from the lower category, you can feel who has the talent to get there, who is not.
Right.
Then, not everyone get to the level because someone is not special here, like they are these Formula One drivers. Someone maybe in the career he lost a bit of interest. He didn't work so hard. The choices from the family and from the manager, they were not perfect and they were not right. So some of the group, you can lose them. But the top drivers that arrived there, more or less, they were special already in the karting in the lower category. Fuck Piastri, he won every single category before Formula One. Everyone. I don't know in karting, but Formula, Renault, European Championship.
Yeah.
Champion. GP3, I saw him in Mugello. I was there. Champion.
Yeah.
Not one pole position in that year. Cold as ice.
Right.
He beats his teammate in the last race. Champion. They told me, he's lucky. Next season, Formula 2, 6 pole position in a row. Champion, Piastri. And then get to Formula 1. He watched the Formula 1 season and then immediately McLaren.
But look at Hadjar, right? He wasn't like the top prospect, and he's killing it. And and
He's
then
killing it. I don't
everyone
know.
was talking about Behrman. Everyone was talking about Bortoletto and the one guy that's shown to be right now looks like it'll be the rookie of the year is a guy that no one. I mean, he came in second, but he wasn't really a heralded prospect. He was like Red Bull's next best option. That's the counterpoint.
Agree with, no, agree with you. I don't know. No, I don't know. So shout out to Ajar. Well done. I don't know how it's possible. So I saw him racing every single race in the lower category. Meaning in the last 2 years.
Yeah.
I said, he's fast. Doesn't look special. Oh. Sure, be quiet, Valsecchi. You're wrong. I am special. Well done.
Yeah.
Well done, Ajar.
Yeah.
Ajar is surprisingly good. And already this year, when he did the first 2 races with with
Tsunoda.
Tsunoda was immediately the same. Was immediately equal, if no better.
Yeah.
Equal, if no better. It was unlucky in the first one in Australia. Did you remember?
Yes.
Yeah,
yes.
when
Yeah, immediately crashed in the maybe formation lap
formation lap, yeah.
Yeah, and then Helmut says he's his boss says he's an embarrassment, and he's able to come back.
Yeah,
I mean,
come
that shows
on.
some fortitude for sure.
Yeah, come on, in embarrassment. He's the best driver of your group out of
Yeah.
Verstappen.
Yeah.
So I hope he's going to ask to tell sorry for him because I don't know. I think he's surprisingly good. And already with Tsunoda was equal, if no better. Now with Lawson, there's no comparison. And then he's almost every time in Q3.
Yeah.
And believe me, being good in qualify is the most difficult quality that you need to have. And probably is the better way to have success in Formula 1 at the moment. Is be good on the single lap time. If you put the car 5th every time or 6th every time in the top 10, much easier to finish the race in the points.
Well, let's talk about another phenom, another guy who is not the exception to the rule, like a Hadjar. Let's talk about your fellow Italian, Kimi Antonelli. I mean, we're in Canada. He just got a podium. There's a lot of hype around this kid. There's probably the most hype that's been around a driver maybe since Verstappen. How do you see him this year? And I'm curious what an Italian driver means to an Italian, given the racing in your blood.
He's always been good.
Yeah.
What does that look?
He says you're like not always. He's like, well. Vankas, this episode is brought to you by Long Drink. Long Drink is a refreshing citrus soda with a premium liquor kick. Unlike the seltzers made with fermented sugar, it is a true award-winning liquor that is smooth, refreshing, and doesn't leave you with that full beer feeling the last sip. It's as good as the first. Long Drink is a citrus soda made with real liquor. It's not like these other, you know what I'm talking about. Everyone's drinking them, but then you still get that full beer feeling, not with Long Drink. Long Drink, it's gluten-free, all-natural, super refreshing. And get this, Miles Teller, Kygo, and Ricky Fowler are investors. Miles Teller, you mean Rooster? Rooster! You gotta drink it. I've literally been having Long Drink nonstop. It's become my new favorite drink, especially on a nice summer day. We're entering summer, and you need your Long Drink. So you can pick up some Long Drink today at a store near you. Happy drinking, Vankas.
He's always been quick. It's impressive how quick is he.
Mm-hmm.
And then I don't want to be too optimistic, because it doesn't bring so much luck usually in Italy. So I want to maintain a low profile.
Okay.
Because in Italy we are famous to rush things.
Yes.
We are famous to be like Ferrari, that immediately the car is not competitive, we're going to change the team principle.
Right.
We are used to do this kind of stuff. So
Yeah, we'll get there.
I'm glad that he's racing for Mercedes, this man.
Mm.
That is with Toto Wolff. That is much better than everyone else. Being patient. He lowered the expectation. He didn't put any pressure on the young kid. He crushed his car in Monza.
P1, yeah.
Did you remember? Free
Yes.
practice. Nothing happened. The day after, he signed his contract for the Formula 1. So this kind of attitude gives the time of my one, Antonelli, to just enjoy and learn and try to be a Formula 1 driver. And believe me, the trajectory that he's having, I don't want to be too optimistic, but it's similar to the one of Piastri. I mean, I know that Piastri now is perfect in the battle, shoulder to shoulder. We didn't see it still from Antonelli, but yesterday he overtook Piastri in the first two corners. Not many guys overtook Piastri during this season.
Yes.
And yesterday he took him at the start during the first lap. Not bad. From fourth, he got third immediately and gave him the podium. And then the race pace sometimes is very similar to Russell. And yesterday it was equal. In Australia with rain, in the last few laps, it was even faster than Russell and he catch him. In Miami, it was exactly the same of Russell, if no better. I know that not so many times, but in some of the times, also if he finish behind Russell, his lap time in the race is equal. And I know that in this Formula One, probably, to get there in the speed, in quali, you need to have a bit of experience, because Piastri shown that in the first year was not so competitive, in the second one was better, and now is the best, or one of the best. So the trajectory that he's having is quite impressive, and he's the third youngest man being on podium in Formula One. That means something.
Yeah.
How do you explain why he's good in some tracks that he's never been to, and other tracks he can't put it together?
His two best races have been Miami and Montreal so far, two tracks he's never been to. Whereas when they said, well, wait till he gets to Imola or these tracks that he did in the junior categories, he's actually kind of struggled there a little bit more.
For Imola, I think that he suffered some kind of pressure there.
Yeah.
I know that he's not racing for Ferrari, but if you come to race in Italy, and Ferrari is not performing so well, everyone is watching you, and we can be very frustrated. We can be very pressing and very heavy on our drivers. So publics, photos, family, school friends, they were all there to watching him, and he missed the quali.
Yeah,
because in the race was shit as Russell in the race pace, because the car was not there.
Right.
But he was not far from Russell, or even a bit better than him in the race pace. Wait, so he missed the quali, agree. I cannot explain why he's so strong in the race where he's not been before. We need to ask him. There's no way, because I don't think there is a real explanation on that. I mean, there's nothing in my mind that make me think, it doesn't know the track is an advantage. It's impossible.
Right.
Knowing the circuit for sure is an advantage. So I don't know why. But he thinks that you go on a new track, immediately you're there. That's his talent. That's his quality, So I think that he just need a bit more of time and experience to reach that level, to use the car every time 100%. Because probably now he's performing only when the car suits him. So it's perfect for him in terms of balance and setup. And in Formula One, is not every race like this.
Can you speak a little bit to the kind of racing culture of Italy? You said they can get very excited. You can get very, we're from New York, right? The Knicks, our basketball team. When we're good, we just got to the Eastern Conference Finals. We didn't get to the finals. We fire the coach. We have a when we
Really?
when we made
we are worse than you.
Yeah.
I support Inter Milan soccer team. We lost the Champions League final. Most important, we lost it. Fire the coach. Oh, the coach left. So I mean, we're similar.
I think
But that man is different.
Yeah,
He's the exception, Antonelli. Probably is why he's in Formula One now. So not so many Italians are in Formula One. First of all, because you need some economical effort, and so you need to be extremely lucky in family. Second, because usually the family doesn't have the culture of a motorsport, and they take wrong choice. I mean, with me, we take definitely wrong choice in our past. But with Antonelli, choosing the team, choosing the category, doing the training on the sport side. I mean, with Antonelli is different, because his father is not a racing driver, but he runs a team. So he's involved in motorsport.
Right.
And he's a kind of being the son of Verstappen, son of Raikkonen. I mean, these guys knows what he needs to get there. And what he needs to get there is preparation, physical training, but it's only a little part of it, because I'm a young kid that wants to do sport. They're fit. Preparation, training, choosing the right category, choosing the right team. Giving the right tools to the driver to perform well. Don't raise up the expectation, maintain a low profile. And Antonelli did it at all because his father was involved in motorsport and is here with him during the race weekend. You can think, maybe he's under pressure, but consider that he's involved in motorsport. That man is the kind of father that for sure is not putting pressure on the son. He's the confident, he's the extra power. And so, well done to them, because they did it perfect.
Do you think that they made the conscious choice maybe to not go with Ferrari? You said just a minute ago that you think it's actually a good thing that the Italian driver is not with Ferrari. It would have been too much pressure, that under Toto's, careful watch, he's actually given that time. Do you think that maybe was a choice, a conscious choice for the Antonellis? Because we were saying, how did Ferrari
miss him in their
drop
backyard?
this kid? Like he was right there.
Yeah.
I don't know how it's happened, but the perfect choice was the perfect choice, and be held also by Toto Wolff, that is so expert. They already did it in the past. I mean, I don't know, but I think he's 110% the perfect choice that he could take. Not because Ferrari is no good, no, wow. But it's just because being on Ferrari now, already when you are in Formula 3 and Formula 2, oh, come on, they are watching at you every time. The TV is on you every single day. I mean, when the driver is not mature enough to be a world star, they already put in you the pressure, and then, come on. Did you heard the interview from Kimi Antonelli that he said this and that? 16 years old.
Right.
Come on. Let him live. I mean, you understand what it means? So working for another team that is foreigner in Italy for sure has been a huge advantage for Antonelli, and I'm glad that he is racing for Mercedes. Then one day we would love to see him winning races with Ferrari, but that's another part. Let him become a champion before, and then we'll see.
It's interesting when I was reading about Gasly, or it might have been Ocon. I was reading about one of these French drivers, and there was like a nationally sort of supported government-funded school where they send these kids to train them. And that's France, where I don't even know they're nearly as crazy as the Italians in terms of their national pride, their motorsporting history. Why is there any sort of program because it feels like there should be more Italians in Formula One,
right?
First
because
of all,
they have the number one team there's such a rich heritage there with Ferrari, but there hasn't been, other than Giovinazzi, like it feels like there hasn't been that many.
First of all, I'm not so much a fan of this junior young program from the team. First of all. Second, I know that it's France that they are doing it very well. Yeah. And at a certain point, they had 4 drivers from France in Formula One. I mean, that program that they're running, it worked so well in the past. They had Grosjean, Ocon, everyone. Leclerc is from France. I know that he's from Monte Carlo, but I mean, they had Gasly. Now Ajar. I mean, well done. Perfect. In Italy, we are not so strong on that side, and our federation, how do you call it? It's the sport federation, political side of our sport. Come on. Get them loose. Apart of that, I'm not a big fan sometimes for the junior program.
Yeah.
Because it's not always very clean. So, Mercedes took Antonelli, helped him financially, help him to have the right choice, help him with the training, help him with the testing, help him in the right way. It's not every time like this. Sometimes, consider that they have a name, they take advantage of this. And they go to the young kid saying, come on, you put our T-shirt, you are a Formula 1 Junior Academy driver.
Right.
You still pay. We try to help it out. If it works, you are our driver. So sometimes it's not very clear the situation, and I'm saying this because Piastri was a young driver of Alpine.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I know that situation was not very clear.
Yeah.
So I don't want to speak for Piastri.
Right.
Yeah.
That is my thought. But I know that situation was not very clear. And when he had the chance to get rid of it, he did it.
Yes.
And best choice of his life in the sports side.
Yeah.
Yes.
Best choice of his life. And probably now he's becoming champion.
Yeah.
Only 3 years after that fucking choice.
Yeah.
And I remember I was there in Spa. Everyone was saying that they were mad. I was the only one in the paddock say, come on, it was right. Fuck the team. No. I don't want to sound arrogant, but they know the team has politics, interest, managing people that they cares only about their status in the team to make the choice. Not everyone is thinking about the future of a driver. Not everyone is thinking about the good for the driver.
Right,
you know, they are fighting for the interest inside the team, and so they forgot that there is a life in the middle, there is a boy in the middle, there is the sacrifice that he did, there is the effort of the family, there is the work of the management to helping out to being there. How you can be arrogant with the future of a boy, you know, only for your money interest or situation in the team interest. And then time in Alpine, they were fighting about who is the boss, who is the leader.
Yeah.
They were changing the team principle right in that weekend. So, well done to Piastri. I know that not everywhere the situation is so clear, like we choose the driver because of his talent. We support it economically. That is not an easy job because cost you a lot. And then you don't have the guarantee. So not everyone is doing, we choose this one, we put the effort, we promote it in Formula One. A lot of stories, and they treated them like they did with Duan.
Right,
you know,
right.
4 races, you are out.
Yeah.
Or Lawson, 2 try, go home. Come on.
Do you feel like we've talked about how, you know, sometimes there is, you know, with Kimi, right? He seems to be in a rare position in Formula One where he's being nurtured, where he gets to crash in Monza in FP1 and it's okay, and they sign the contract the next day. But it seems like most of this world is more mercenary in that way, where it's just, you know, it's not family, this is business. And Piastri learned that lesson right away. Whereas we're looking at Norris, who's been like kind of a company man. Zach Brown brought him up to the junior categories, and it feels a little bit like he has maybe a more, it's harder to disentangle his heart from the team, whereas Piastri, he doesn't necessarily have those same loyalties to McLaren. He's there to do a job, and, you know, if he maybe has to disobey a McLaren, I know that he does it, but it seems like, you know, he learned that important lesson that this is business, not family, early. Do you feel like there are certain drivers, you know, we look at Charles Leclerc and Ferrari, he's struggling right now. He's maybe saying that he wants that. Like, you know, how hard is it maybe to disentangle yourself from the team?
I was disappointed for the weekend that Leclerc had in Ferrari here in Canada, to be honest. I think he suffered a bit the situation now, this man, because he's my favorite one.
Yeah.
We start from this point.
Yeah.
But he had that crash on Friday while he was the quickest, because at that time it was the 10 minutes into the session. Probably everyone was taking it easy. He felt it. He's a huge talent. He was the fastest in the track. He had that mistake. He missed all the Friday. He come back on Saturday morning. Second best lap time in free press 3. And they said, if it's not talent, this one, you can tell me what is the talent, you know? Immediately, bam, missing all the Friday, immediately up there. And then in quali was one of the best. He had that mistake, and then he blamed one man that he was in front.
Yeah.
There's some true in it. So, if you have dirty hair in front of you, you lose a bit of downforce. And the car start to be sketchy.
Yep.
So, I can get it. But blame fucking Ajar that was 3 seconds away.
Yeah.
Going slowly.
It's not the way. I mean, I know that you are angry. Don't blame the other.
Yeah.
It's happening, I think, because now he feels this kind of I don't know if it's pressure, but like frustration.
Yeah.
I mean, he feels that he has the talent to become world champion. I strongly believe too.
Mm-hmm.
The car is not there to give him the chance. His team pumped up the situation all winter long, say we are going to fight. Hired Hamilton to have the right mentality to win the championship. He's beating Hamilton every single time. How is possible that he's 5th? I know that is frustrating.
Yeah.
So you are beating the best in the sport, probably of all time. You should be winning almost every race. But the car is not there. All the winter they said that they were fighting for championship, and now the championship is not far away. It's on the other side of the moon.
All right.
Who's to blame?
What's wrong with Ferrari?
Who's to blame for
don't
Ferrari? They want to fire Fred. Is Fred the scapegoat? Why can't they find their way back to the top? It's been since
I
2007,
don't know.
2008.
But the situation is not clear, and I'm sorry for it. I'm disappointed for it. Because if you change the team principal at this point of the season, it's a huge mistake. And this is my personal view. Everyone can think on his own. But my personal view is, you are in the middle of the season, that's fine, can be okay. But the project for the next season car, where the rules are completely different, is already started. So if you fire the team principal that is running the project, you create a lot of confusion, a lot of trouble. You have a new one, probably with new people. He needs to restart. Is later than Adrian Newey, that is a fucking genius. I mean, you understand? Gives me. I start to think. I don't think it's the right choice to change the man now, or you change it at the end of last season or during the last season championship, and you bring new people to start the new project. If no, now the new project is already starting, then you charge the leader. It's a trouble. If you come like as a team principal, and then you bring your friend because you know that he's capable of. The project is already started. The first things that he does is. I have a better idea. Restart again 3 months later than the other team. I don't think it's the way to win the next championship.
Do you think it was right that they got rid of Binotto?
I don't know. We don't have so much patience in Italy.
Yeah.
And we're a bit like Norris yesterday. Impatient. Could he take it slower, Norris? I mean, only 2 points in the battle to gain. He lost 10, right? After the crash. He could try the a lap later. He could just be happy to finish behind him for once and not losing 10 points. But in Italy, we are like this. We feel the heat. We think that is the best choice at that moment. And we do it. So when they did it with Binotto, I was personally very disappointed with the way that he did it. I was there working for Italian TV. In Abu Dhabi, and they were keep asking to Binotto, is your position is secure? And he told us, yeah, I spoke with the CEO. He just told me that the position is okay. My future is secure. I always dreamed to be the team principal of Ferrari. For sure, I'm not going to leave. It's my dream job. I want to stay, try to win. We won races this year. That's what's happening with Binotto. 7 days later,
Gone.
So I don't think is the way to treat a person in the job. But when there is the middle, fans, money, and the sport result, I know that everything is becoming 10 or 100 times bigger, and sometimes gets frustrating.
I've said this before.
Also, the fans with Binotto, they were not very kind, and that is the worst thing. And then they are when they get rid of Binotto, they hire Vasseur. I have huge respect for him. You know why? Because I saw him in the lower category. He won every fucking category.
Yeah.
He's the Hülkenberg of the lower category.
Right.
Believe me. So I think that person is not good. I think that person is fantastic, that man. But when they hired him, on the press was that, we hired a winning man. Fuck, he didn't win any race in Formula 1.
Right.
So, the press in Italy is like this.
Right.
You were the best one. You're not okay anymore. You're stupid. Go away. Then, you are a champion, my friend. Oh, this man is the best in the world. What the fuck? You didn't win any race. But, so I think he's a good one.
Yeah.
I think he's a special one. We need to give him the time to work on the new project, the only one that he did it personally. And we need to rate his job on the performance of the next season car. We cannot do it 1 season before it. If no, we are crazy.
Before a regulation change, yeah.
And I was saying this before. I've been saying this a lot, but I was reading about Ferrari's history, and when they hired Todt, he took him years. They gave him Montezemolo gave him time, and how come they don't seem to be learning from their past success?
No,
which
but
is
every time they gave to the team principal 3 or 4 years.
Right.
And then if the result doesn't come, they change him.
Yeah.
But I don't think it's the right moment. Now, shut up, let him work.
Right.
I know that he said during the winter that we were going to win the championship, and now we are lost. Okay.
Yeah.
And that is a fact, because results are extremely important. But give him the time at least to reach the next season and to see if that man did a good job or no. That is my evaluation to say is a winning team principle or no, because they told me that there was a winner one, and now they don't believe in him. Come on. So you tell me in 2 years, 2 different story. It's not fair.
And maybe you got to under-promise and over-deliver a bit.
Yeah, but every time it's like this, because
Yeah.
then there is the media, then there is the team, then there is the team launch, then there is there is the Hamilton sponsor, then there is the new sponsor, and they want you to say we're going to fight for the championship. You go on the stage in Milan,
Right.
20,000 people, and
they finish
you
pretty
lose
strong.
it. You lose to say
We'll
they're
see.
going to fight for the championship. Oh! After 5 races, we are out of battle. I mean, I get it why they did it wrong.
And they always have a few good races, and then you start to think, okay, mate. Like last year, they had a few. I think Leclerc won Monza, he won Monaco,
The
and
second
you start
part
to
of the
trick
season
yourself
was
into
third in the championship.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah,
was
yeah.
the third best or the second best in the second part of the championship.
Yeah.
So we were thinking that positive they were keep running with the same trend, while maybe McLaren improved it and Ferrari just lost it. Yeah, that's bad.
Banca's summer is here, which means more sun, more light, and more time to have fun. And you know what you don't want to be doing this summer? Spending hours in your kitchen cooking meals. That's where Factor comes in. Factor's chef-crafted, dietitian-approved meals are ready to eat in just 2 minutes, taking the hassle out of eating well. They arrive fresh, ready to eat, perfect for any active lifestyle over the summer and beyond. With 45 weekly menu options, you can pick gourmet meals that fit your summer gains and goals. Choose from options like Calorie Smart, Protein Plus, Keto, and more. Factor powers your day sun up to sundown with nutritious breakfasts, on-the-go lunches, premium dinners, and guilt-free snacks and desserts. Factor has your whole day covered. Enjoy this summer. Get Factor with all the flavor and none of the fuss. I love Factor. You know, I live in New York City. I don't have the best kitchen in the world, but I like to not only go out and spend $8,000 every time I leave my apartment to go eat in New York City. This way I can have what feels like a home-cooked meal that tastes amazing. You get that restaurant taste in your house and you know exactly what's in it. That's the best part. When you go to a restaurant, when you order in, you're like, I have no idea what I just consumed. How many calories, how much protein, all this stuff. You have all of that listed on Factor. So you can get started at factormeals.com/redflags50 off and use code redflags50 off to get 50% off plus free shipping on your first box. That's code redflags50 off at factormeals.com/redflags50 off for 50% off plus free shipping. Go. I mean, this is the deal of the summer. Get after it. Factormeals.com/redflags50 off. I want to go back a little bit to your life, your career. You talked a little bit earlier about, you know, the junior programs that, you know, sometimes they sell you a bill of goods that aren't actually true or there. Can you talk a little bit about, you know, we know that you had some time working with the Lotus team. Can you talk a little bit about like that time period, whether Formula One was like, you know, a real prospect in your life or, you know?
Yeah. So I believed that it was the right man to race the last 2 races of the 2013 championship, because Raikkonen, that was having an amazing season with Lotus, full of podium and 2 victories, I think.
Almost bankrupting them, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well done, mate.
Yes.
No, because
Yeah.
I mean, they wanted to hire Raikkonen, that was one of the best of the field before leaving Formula One, and Raikkonen said, "Okay, you pay so much me if I get the result," and the car was good. Thanks to the team that he did an amazing job. The car was very good, and Raikkonen was every time on the podium.
Yeah.
And so the prize money that they set on the contract, they were so high that they almost killed them.
Yeah.
But Raikkonen was smiling and was, great result, guys. Anyway, Okay, Raikkonen he had an amazing career, an amazing season, and then 2 races to the end, he resigned with Ferrari.
Mm-hmm.
And he started to have some during the season. He had an issue with his back. He had back pain. That was not a big one, but if you sign for Ferrari and you are getting paid so many
Right.
millions, and you maybe hope to have a championship again, to have a championship fight again,
Yeah,
and running for the championship, he got surgery,
I see.
I see.
and so 2 races to the end, that seat was empty, and was probably the best driver out of the Formula One world at that moment, out of the 20. And I was working for them as a reserve driver, and they didn't pick me. So they didn't let me race the last 2 races. But I think that was very unfair, because they trained me. Raikkonen missed missed one of the first day in the preseason test because he was ill or something happening. I drove his car. I was as competitive as his teammate that was Grosjean. So I was ready to fight. Probably not to get the podiums or of
Sure.
Raikkonen, but I was ready to stay in the points, I think. And I didn't have the chance because they recruit another driver.
Why do you think they made that decision?
First of all, because the driver was much more experienced, because he ended up the year before or 2 years before his career in Formula One, that was Kovalainen. Second, because he had a big support from his management with one of the sponsors.
I see.
So I got fucked in that circumstance, and I was not very happy.
Yeah.
So that one was hard for me because they told me that I was going to race, and then I take the trip to I fly over to Brazil thinking that I was racing, and when I arrived at the circuit, they told me there was another one. So was much worse than the provision, because you have to think that. Is almost nothing for the Formula One world, because who cares about who's going to replace
Right.
Raikkonen,
two races,
end of career, 2 races, the championship is already done. Who cares? Who cares that if they replace immediately Duan after 5 races? Who cares? But for the Duan lives, that he sacrificed his life, his youth, to be the best one, to try to achieve that dream, fuck, for him is important.
Yeah.
How the fuck is possible that after 5 races he's out and they took Colapinto? Similar. I mean,
Right.
what's the point?
Right.
So at that time, for the team, who cares about this fucking Italian?
Right.
But fuck, for me,
Yeah.
was the fight of my life.
Yeah.
And I lost it.
Yeah.
Come on, I lost it without even fighting it.
Yeah.
And for me was, I took it very badly. For me, it was personal. I mean, for me, it was fucking important. You told me that I was flying to Brazil to race that fucking race, and I didn't. Or Austin was the race, I don't remember.
Yeah.
And I didn't. Fuck you. That's, for me, was crucial.
How do you bounce back from something like that?
Because we see you on the broadcast. We don't. You're a beam of light. You're a beam of joy.
Yeah, you'd think
and
you'd won the championship and not Nico Rosberg, right? Who's
Right,
who's more prickly.
Nico Rosberg's like, well, this, that. He's like, you won a championship. What are you complaining about?
Yeah.
You
have so much positivity.
Yeah, but fuck Nico Rosberg, I loved him. I saw him in the
We love him
paddock,
too.
and
We love him too.
every time I saw Nico Rosberg, fuck,
Yeah.
you are blonder than me. You are fitter than me. You are richer than me. You are my dream man. Believe me, every time.
Yeah.
And then he's classy, this man. I don't know.
No, we love him
I
too.
really like him. I don't know him very well,
Yeah.
but every time I'm joking, well, Nico Rosberg is perfect in the paddock. Perfectly dressed. I mean, it's a different way to live, but I really appreciate.
But,
it.
you're happier than Lewis Hamilton, who's miserable at Ferrari, and you know what I'm saying. How do you maintain such a happy demeanor?
And what I would
what's the
say to
secret?
that is that you are perfectly imperfect. How about that, Davide? Come on,
Everyone is as his
Come
way.
on.
But I'm passionate during the racing weekend because I love the sport. And usually I take the positivity. You know why? Because I hate people that complain. And consider that this sport, I love it so much. After the race, I want to see the good stuff. I want to put myself in the head of the driver and saying, come on. I know that he did this, and I know why he did this. Probably the best way was to swap the line immediately and go into the right, but I know that he saw the hole there and was thinking, I'm tougher and can use the grass. I was in the mind of Norris,
Right.
and I could perfectly get why he did the try. Was risky, but it was paying off at the next break. So I know that there is risk, but if this man leave me the space, I'm going to get him.
Mm-hmm.
But Piastri didn't, and we crashed. So I know it. I love so much the sport that I'm positive because I know how difficult is it, and I love the move of the driver. That is the most important part for me. I'm not an expert about technical side. I'm an expert only about driver move in the truck. I'm honest about it.
Well, you've been able to, bounce back from a difficult thing, still remain positive. We asked some of our fans who are going through maybe a little bit of rough time because we feel like you're a great guy for a pep talk. So we've got some fans, people who are going through some stuff, and they want a Davide Valsecchi pep talk. Okay.
Shoot.
So Liz needs motivation to get back in the gym and start working out. What do you got to say to Liz?
Liz, I'm with you. Come together. We go Starbucks and McDonald's. We do double. Wait, Liz. For the first weekend, I was keeping the same jet lag of Italy. So every morning at 3 o'clock in the night, I was awake. And every morning I did train. This morning, I woke up to the hill up there, where there is a great view, and I ran down. So,
and I see the calluses on your hands. Show the hands. Let me see the hands. Yeah. I hope those are the calluses I think they are.
No. I'm right-handed. No, so I don't know. I'm not the perfect guy for this. I'm sorry.
Okay. All right, Ryan needs advice on how to start dating again after a bad breakup.
That's a feel for it. Okay. I don't know. Just be happy and try with every woman that you meet.
It's a numbers game. It's a numbers game.
It's a numbers game. Okay. Megan needs some motivation to start writing her book.
Really?
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah.
I don't know. In this one, I don't know, to be honest. Because I know that for writing something, you need to have not motivation. You need to have inspiration. And so to be inspired about something, I don't know, being around probably is a suggestion. I know that a lot of rider goes around, stop in the park, watching the particular, and they get the fire in him. I don't know, try.
I like it. We have a fan who's prepping to take one of the toughest entrance examinations in the world.
That is the same feeling that a racing driver has when you are on the starting grid. Sometimes when your mechanics they are leaving and your engine is not on yet, you feel like this type of, come on, once again. In the sport is like this. Every day you need to perform and every day you need to prove that you are good enough. And sometimes you want just to go away, leave, escape and running away. I don't know. Then in the car, you switch off the engine and you're like, come on, let's do it. So I don't know what he has to try, but I don't know, put very high level music on and let's do it, something that give you the...
Okay, and Rebecca thinks that Lando needs a pep talk after this tough weekend. If this is in Canada, we'll see where he's at. This episode's coming out after Silverstone. Hopefully he's already bounced back. But if you could talk to Lando Norris right now, what would you say?
I know him, not very well, but I know him. And I spoke with him just after Bahrain. And he was down in Bahrain. It was not one of his best racing weekend because he missed the performance in qualifying, more or less like he did Saturday. But then in Bahrain, he had a good race and he had a good comeback, was full of fire that race and was very enjoyable to watch Norris. Yesterday was more or less the same, but he ended up badly. So I don't have the advice because I never been in that condition to fight for the championship of Formula One. I only won the second League One. So the level was much easier to handle. And when I handled it, I was bloody scared when I was leading the championship. So I don't have a real advice because I did it before. But for Lando, I think the right one is to be positive, enjoy it, and be confident. You are a great champion. You come back pushing, you come back fighting, you come back doing the race that you did yesterday. And you come back and probably having the engineers that calm you down a bit without being, I don't know. I heard the commentary that made the engineer about the qualify, where he was over pushing a bit.
Remember your breaking points, that kind of thing.
Fuck you, man. I don't know him. I don't think it's the right way. Come on. Live on television. You stop in the box and you tell me. You stop in the box while I'm driving. I'm over revving, right? Because you are telling me that I need to stay more calm. So I'm right over revving. Did you ever work that someone is so frustrated and want to punch you in the face? No, stay calm. Palm at the first time, right? So for sure doesn't work like this. I mean, try to help him out in a different way. That one from me was the wrong attitude. And I will try to think something different. I'm no one to suggest something like this, but I know that sometimes the engineers, they are cold because they are not doing it. And sometimes they take the driver in the wrong way. That's why every time we hear complaining on the radio from driver to the engineers. They are friends. They work together perfectly. Probably that engineers, they are genius. But sometimes they are not in the spirit of the moment and they suggest the wrong thing. That is my personal
You got to meet the driver a little bit where they're at.
Yes.
Who do you think is the best at that on the grid? Who do you think is the best engineer when it comes
I don't
to
know. I think JP, the one. No. Tell me the
with Verstappen?
Yeah,
Jean-Pierre.
yeah, half Italian. This man.
Yes.
No, wait. I think that man with Verstappen is just perfect. But was not perfect at the beginning. And from my point of view, I never spoke with him about that. If we ask him, I invite him to your podcast. It's a cool man to have it.
Yeah.
I know that the Red Bull is not easy to get, but okay, try. It's Italian. Wait. Yeah. For sure, if you ask him, at the beginning of his career with Verstappen in Red Bull was not as strong as he is now. Because he learned how to approach and how to handle a driver. During the course of the season. This one is not bossing that before the race you tell the fighter, oh, be hard, come on, kill him.
Yeah.
This one is sport of focus, concentration. You need to be humble. You need to be balanced. So you're not push now and gets the time. Believe me, it's never like this in the motorsport. And so sometimes I can hear that something that is not perfect. Sometimes I can hear engineers, now's the right time, push, and doing it, man.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
So what's that balance though? Because if
I think with time, the engineer of Verstappen with Verstappen, they find the right balance.
Right.
Sometimes is to go along the Verstappen idea and support him. Sometimes is to say, Max, you're wrong, do it.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think they find in the years they find the right balance to approach themselves and to be extremely useful and performing in the car and in the truck. I think there's no an easy answer on that. You need to follow a bit the moment and try to balance the condition. It's not so easy to happen. So if it was too easy, you see that Norris overdrive. You open the radio, everyone is listening. You give him shit because everyone is listening. Come on. He needs the teacher to drive a Formula 1 car.
Yeah.
I personally didn't like it.
Right.
Right. If it was his manager, what the fuck, man? So my kid is paid 20 millions of euros. He's second in the championship. He's second best driver in the world. And you tell him how to drive. You know how to do it? No. So stay in your side. You enter in the box. You open the radio and you tell him. Easy. No.
Yeah.
So I didn't like it. If it was working, Norris was on pole. For sure, it didn't work. Find another way. Sometimes you need to work together to get better. But I don't think the Norris needed it Saturday.
I love you. I love you, man.
You got so much energy.
Probably the engineer of Norris not so much now.
Yeah, but I think we got to wrap up in a minute. I just want to, I don't know. I feel like you really embody exactly kind of what we love about this sport. You the thing that you pay attention to is the exact thing that we pay attention to as fans. And I feel like you on the grid and in the space kind of deliver a degree of like, this is what it feels like. This is, that same passion that we see on track. I feel like it's actually, you are the exception to the rule in this media landscape of someone who can like bring that in the same way that you're talking about, like there's a driver, you got to meet them where they're at. You meet the fans where they're at. You meet the drivers where they're at. I feel like you're standing right in between us as the connective bridge. So
Yeah, sometimes I think I am too much on the driver's side and a bit too much against the team's thinking. But maybe because I've been a driver and I'm on this side. And sometimes in comparison to the fan, that I love them. And also surprisingly, in Canada, some of them, they were cheering on me.
Mm-hmm. I'm not surprised.
Probably because they cannot understand what I'm saying in English. Because I barely speak English. Problem is that. And so they kind of enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Sometimes I support the driver that is passionate, they risk it all, and sometimes they overtook the line. While the fans, sometimes they get like, no, Verstappen maneuver in Barcelona, they need to suspend him, But sometimes this kind of, I know that the normal man can overtook the line and be naughty or wild. Sometimes in Formula 1 happens. And I see that as a normal things. I mean, I did some move when I was racing that they overtook the limit. I did it. I was sorry for it, and sometimes after the race you regret it.
Yeah.
But sometimes happened, and it's normal, and you have a fraction of a second to decide. And if yesterday Lando Norris took out Piastri, so many fans, they were hating Norris, saying, come on, you tried to took him out.
Yeah.
Was not that this. The intention was to overtook him.
Right.
And did that badly for him. But let's see if Norris was going away and he ended up with Piastri in the wall. I don't think it was an intentional one.
Right.
But he just risked it all. It didn't work out. So sometimes I support the extreme maneuver a bit too much because I know that sometimes the public, the fans, they are saying, no, come on, they need to ban him. Oh, come on, that was too much. But I know that sometimes in the sport you overtook
This is what we live for. This is why are we doing this if we're not doing it?
Red card in football. Happens
happens.
sometimes,
Yeah.
He's not a bad man, this one. It was too passionate at that moment. He felt too much the heat. Shit happened.
Yeah.
Sometimes the fan, they are very against him, against this type of stuff. But I know probably for experience that shit happens also if you are a fantastic and perfect driver. So sometimes I'm a bit too on the driver's side.
Well, we love it. We thank you for joining us. This was a thrill.
Yes.
We start this podcast with a "Was up, Vankas," which is a ode to our friend Gunter Steiner. Would you honor us with a goodbye, Vankas?
Okay. So, guys, arrivederci, Vankas.
Yeah!